There you go. That is the reality of trading. That is it. Numero uno of trading and how frustrating it can be. Technically, right now, I should be 1% up higher than I already am. However, I am not. Okay, it's Monday morning. I've entered in a trade on EU. A little bit of drawdown at the moment. Let's see what happens. But yeah, it lined up. One thing I would like though, I would like price to just close above the 200 and a 15. That will make me sweeter. So if price does close above there, then I'll feel more confident holding a trade. But other than that, everything met the rules, everything is in place. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, if I can get a nice close in the next, well, two 15-minute bars of price closing above the 200, that'll give him more confidence. But yeah, so far so good. We'll see what happens, and hopefully price during London moves. We did have a lot of consolidation during Asian. So usually when you get consolidation during Asian, you usually get the push during London. If you had a huge push during Asian, then usually London consolidates. That's tend to see what I'm seeing. So yeah, it's so we should have a nice push. I'm only asking for 12 pips, so let's see what happens. Anything can happen here. But yeah, so far so good, and we have technically had a break of structure, high low, another break of structure, and this might be a high low. So continuing push to the upside would be nice, but again, we'll see. Anything can happen. If I check the news, let me just refresh it. We haven't got any USD news today at all, right? We've only got this Chinese industrial news today, which has already come out at 2 a.m. So price could be more stable, could be slower. You know, I hope it doesn't consolidate again. If I go for the rest of the week, you can see that potentially we've got nothing tomorrow for the USD. And we've only got FOMC this Wednesday for the USD. So it could be quite a slow week for the USD, to be honest, and mostly other pairs that are affected with the news. That one a bit weird. But yeah, so as I said, if I can get a nice close above the 200 in the next 6 minutes, fantastic. But again, I'm not gonna cry if it doesn't. And I'm just gonna let price do what it wants to do. Okay, I got out the trade. I don't want to be in it anymore. I got out at 0.8% loss. Never got that close above. So that's what I'm going to wait for next time, is waiting for that close above. Yeah, is what it is. Starting off the Monday with a bang, clearly. I mean, I don't think I've ever started a Monday profitable. Actually, no, maybe once. It's very rare. So do I trade Mondays from the future? Don't know. I'm just going to keep swinging, see what my data says after a lot of trades. Um, it's always like yes and no. It's never although sometimes you get bangers on a Friday as well, and then sometimes Fridays are trash, but then the Fridays that I do get make up for the ones that I lose and some. So it's just dealing with that emotional stuff, isn't it? So yeah, it is what it is. It's not always gonna work out. If this ends up losing altogether, then great. If it ends up winning, gives me another entry, but that actually closes above, then I'll go in again. Every moment in this is unique. I just need to keep swinging and see what happens next. But yeah, whatever happens, happens. We'll see if we get any more opportunities on gold as well. But time will tell. Okay, I'm back in the trade. I got my close above the 200. Got price action that I want to see. Again, we've got another broker structure to the upside. So fingers crossed this is it this time. If it isn't, then that's me done for the day. I'll just take the L and move on. But it looks like it makes sense. I know what you're going to say. Oh, you should have held the trade. But again, that's hindsight. You know, it is what it is. Things happen. And look at the DXY. Price is selling off. So price does make sense to go up on EU. But have a look at gold. Gold is pushing up. So it makes sense again for EU to go up. So hopefully EU does go up. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is. I'm definitely more profitable on gold than I am on EU at the moment, but we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'll just keep you updated and back in the trade. Whatever happens, happens. Price has moved up more how I would like it to go, so that's quite nice. So I have reduced risk. So I've only got 0.5% on the table at risk. So if this loses, then I lose 1.3 for the day. If this wins, then I make 1.2% for the day. So fingers crossed, price keeps pushing up. Again, if I go to the DXY, DXY selling off. So again, it makes more sense for EU to go up. And again, gold is still pumping. So yeah, so all looks good for EU to continue to go to the upside. It's 11 o'clock now, so maybe by half 12, we'll see what the New York Open does. But hopefully we get that push to the upside. And again, I can see more. I can see price keep pushing to the second red dotted line on the right side. That's where I can see price going, hopefully. But if it hits the first red dotted line, that's my TP. So fingers crossed that happens. I mean, what we are like 9 pips away from TP, so hopefully it happens. But again, I'm just going to reduce risk where I can, where it's logical, where it makes sense, and just let price do what it wants to do. It's out of my hands. All right, it's going well. I've moved stop loss to break even, so whatever happens now, I'll maybe lose like a smeckle because I've got break even, but it's just slightly below commissions. If price pushes up higher, then obviously I'll start to trail more and then I'll cover those commission costs. But it's basically break even. So the worst that can happen today is I lose 0.8%. The best that can happen today is I win 1.2% overall. But we'll see what happens. So far so good. 15-minute price action is still looking great. So yeah, if price comes back down, then I'm gonna wait for a higher low and then potentially get a higher high in. But so far so good. We'll just sit and wait and see what happens. All right, I've gone in again. I've reduced my risk in profit. So the original trade is 0.41% in profit. I saw another opportunity. I think this could be the new higher low to new higher high, but again, we'll see. If I'm wrong, then hey, I just had to take a swing because it made sense, it looked good, and that's all I can really go on. Again, so if it works out great, I make 3.2%. If it works out terribly, I lose 1.4%. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I can't win them all, but when it makes sense, just take the swing, and that's kind of what I'm going with, to be honest. And not overthink anything. So yeah, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm not going to break my daily drawdown rules, and potentially this could be a great day. So let's just wait and see what happens next. Well, that was short-lived. I'm out. I'm done for today. I am down 1.4% for today. It is what it is. Fuck it. On to the next day, come back tomorrow. It looked promising, but hey, so basically if I didn't scale in, let's just say I didn't, for example, and I took 0.4, I would have been down 0.4% for the day rather than 1.4. But hey, you got to have a swing now and then and see what happens. But yeah, there's still 4 more days of the week, bruh. We'll see what we can get. Okay, I have got into EU. It is Tuesday morning. It is just gone 8 o'clock, so we are at London Open. I can see price pushing to the downside, so I'm hoping the trend will continue to the downside. Have a look on the right hand side. I feel like price can potentially come and attack these lows down here, and then push through, fill the imbalance, and potentially attack these lows down there. That's potentially what I'm seeing. Again, only time will tell, but we do have a base rally sort of thing going on here. So we'll see what happens next. But fingers crossed we do get that. If I do see room to scale in, then I will do so. But yeah, still a bit tired. I can't see much on gold at the moment. Just look at gold. Gold is potentially going to sell off too. Fingers crossed. But yeah, we'll see what happens next. But we just need everything to be in line, and then we can go for it. But at the moment, it's not in line. EU's in line, so I'm just going to go with that. I am also in this gold trade at the moment. I've just gone in. I have entered in this gold trade so far. It is in profit. I just saw price just pump into the downside, so I was like, I'm just gonna get in. I could see it, as you can see. Break a structure, retest, push. So I'm expecting gold to keep pushing down. If I look at the DXY is pushing up, which makes sense. So EU should, as I'm in, keep pushing down. So that's good. So yeah, overall, if both these trades play out, it'd be fantastic. So obviously that'll be 4% for the day. And it's like earlier in the day as well, because it's only gone, it's 18 minutes past 8 at the moment. So there's plenty of time for this to keep pushing before potential reversal at New York. There isn't any New York news for the dollar, really. Oh, no high impact news for the dollar, really, anyway. So fingers crossed this can keep pushing to the downside and we get some nice moves. But yeah, sorry for yawning. I'm still knackered. But yeah, ashwagandha. If you ever take ashwagandha, guys, it gives you the best sleep ever. But anyway, non-medical advice. Do what you want. But I'm telling you, if you're struggling with sleeping, take that and you'll be set. Okay, what I'm gonna do is at least reduce risk on gold. There. So let me just draw on the screen for you. There. Okay, so that's what my stop was in gold. So roughly 0.6% at risk on gold at the moment. But we'll see. Hopefully prices don't come back too far. Potentially we're going to see something along the lines of, well, as it's doing now. That's what I'd like to see. But we'll see. Anything can happen. It's up to the charts. It's not up to me. But yeah, I've reduced risk on gold now. So I've only got 1.6, I'd say, at risk. EU, again, still plenty of room for that to go. So yeah, I'm just gonna let it do its thing. Price could probably, if we get a new lower high and then another lower low, something decent structure wise, then I'll put my stop loss there. But we need to see that first before I can move my stop loss. The reason why I moved my stop loss already on gold is because price has basically already moved and it's really close to TP. So, and that is some form of structure here. So that's why I moved my TP. So technically, I mean, stop loss. So technically price, I don't want it price to go past this point. If it goes past this point, and it's probably going to go past this point, and I've lost the trade anyway. So I'd rather just take risk off the table where I can logically and where it makes sense. So we'll see. Hopefully, it never comes back to stop me out at 0.6. But again, anything can happen. It's not up to me. All right, I'm out on gold. I took 0.27% of a loss on it. I just saw price was coming back. I was really hoping that this low was going to get broken again. It didn't. So it made a high low, then made a higher high. Went downstairs to make a coffee. And I saw this huge spike up. So yeah, I got out when I saw this spike to the area because technically if I'm thinking it's going to go bearish, then I don't want price to start to make higher highs and high lows. I'd rather it just continue to sell to the downside. So yeah, I got out at 0.27% loss, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. And then if I look at EU, I'm still in EU, but EU sort of messing about. It does look like it's selling off and now going sideways. So I might just close that here, to be honest, and then look for a better opportunity to come in. There we go. EU's out at 0.23% in profit, so nothing great. Yeah, so basically break even for the day so far, to be honest. Nothing to shout about, rave about. But if I see another opportunity that makes sense with better structure, then yeah, I'm going to go for it. But right now, it's just all a bit, it's a bit rubbish, really. Kind of sucks, but hey, it is what it is. We move on to the next, don't we? Okay, I'm in EU again. I just saw the price action do what I wanted to do. We sort of like have a break of structure now. We sort of this consolidation. This yellow line is actually 8 o'clock. Like the timings have gone weird on TradingView. So I think that's to do with maybe the US time. I don't know. Because we ain't in daylight savings time in the UK yet, or the summertime, sorry, British summertime yet until the end of the month. But it's already an hour out on TradingView, so it kind of threw me off. So this yellow line is actually London Open at 8 o'clock in the morning. So really this section should be over here, which is why it was confusing. So yeah, so this is still Asian in this price area here. So yeah, I'm hoping price does continue to push to the downside. It's just a better structure than it was before, rather than me getting here. I stop loss way up there. It just didn't really make much sense for the move that I could see happening. If it happens, it may not happen, but yes, yeah, so I've gone in again. So if this happens, then I'll be up basically 2% for the day. But again, we'll see if it plays out. But I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. But yeah, that's why I was just thrown out. I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. So look at gold. gold again is just consolidating. So yeah, again, gold London Open is actually, where are we? Where's my phone? Da, 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 da. So that is actually London Open for gold. So this is Asian, and then right at London Open, gold just absolutely tanked to the downside. So maybe we might get a continuation to the downside. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated, and hopefully today's the better day. But anything can happen. Okay, so EU's going well. I'm just gonna reduce my risk a sec. Let me just. So I've only got 0.3% at risk at the moment, or now anyway. So 0.67, so it's bang on. Just change it to that. So yeah, so far EU's doing well, going well. Reduce risk. If it comes back and makes more structure, then I'll reduce risk again. But yeah, so far so good on EU. If this does slap, then that's me done for the day. Yeah, I know you think, oh, you should have held the original position or maybe scaled into it, but the structure was just a bit weird. And again, that timing thing is just messed me up because obviously when I see green, I'm like, oh, okay, it's London Open now. But like, I felt like I slept in and it was confusing me. I was like, oh, that didn't actually happen during London. It happened during Asian. It just messed me up, and I was all confused and stuff. I was whatever. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I don't know, but if it hits this red line, great. And also, my alarms are gone. They've broken on on Trading View for some reason. I asked my team if theirs is working, and theirs is. It's just me. So fantastic. Let's have a look at gold. Gold again. That's exactly why I closed it. Gold was just doing its thing. So yeah, got out gold at basically break even. More like 0.3% loss. So yeah, so if this works out, then fantastic. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It come back tomorrow. But yeah, so far so good. Okay. All right, I went downstairs for a coffee and we had this huge wick. So I've moved my stop loss to break even. I'm still in the trade. I've just moved it down to, I saw this huge wick and I was like, okay, bollocks that. I'm going break even. So at least now I'm protected. Covered commissions as well. So hopefully price doesn't come up after that scary wick and price continues to the downside. If I look at DXY, you can see why we had that scary wick. If I go to gold, gold's just doing its own thing. But yeah, I'm just covering my ass on EU just so I don't take it an L today. If I get out of break even, I get out of break even. It is what it is. But hopefully price does move to the downside. And we get some nicer price action. But yeah, after that huge push, like there's no way I'm gonna risk losing this trade when I don't need to. So yeah, I've moved price to break even. See what happens next. Hopefully we get a dub, but whatever happens, happens. Okay. I tried a little bit more. I just didn't move it down. I got stopped out. So I took a 2.6% win on this trade. Again, it is what it is. It's roughly here where I was stopped out. But you know, it is what it is. It's one of them things. It's just the market at the moment. Um, yeah, it's annoying. Basically, it's annoying. But hey, I'd rather take a 0.26 than a loss. So basically a break-even day, a very small win today. So yeah, I won't class it as anything, but basically break even for a Tuesday, I'm done. Um, yeah, it's one of them things. It's one of them things. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a bit ugly. I know like the news isn't really coming out. I do have FOMC coming out tomorrow at 6 p.m. So maybe we get some volatility then. But yeah, it's just a bit meh at the moment. But I'd rather take a 0.26% small win over a break even small win. But overall, I'd really like if I had the 2% win. But hey, it is what it is. Just gotta let the market do what it wants to do. The market is the king. I'm just this little bitch, all right? And I just need to trade what I see and what makes sense to me. And what makes sense to me was to move my stop loss to there, to you know, just get out the trade if it came back on me. This wick again, if this wick never happened and it just carried on selling off normally, that's fine. But that wick was a big red flag to me of what potentially might happen because that wick was caused by a huge amount of orders being put into the market. Like that doesn't happen for no reason. So the wick put my alarm bells on, and then I just traded accordingly to what I could see. But yeah, I didn't want to make a huge losing day out of potential, could have been a break even day. you know, so it is what it is. We move on, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, guys, it is Wednesday morning. I've entered a trade on gold. So far it looks good. We'll see what happens. We are having a bit of a pullback, so that's a smidge, a massive smidge in drawdown at the moment. But yeah, so I've covered the highs. So far it looks good. We have broken structure to the downside. We had this consolidation during Asian and then boom to the downside. So in my head, I'm thinking potentially retrace, come back, continuation. But again, we'll see. Um, Price can do whatever it wants to do. Today, obviously, we do have that FOMC news for the US dollar at 6 p.m. It's usually at 7, obviously, but America's flipped. We haven't yet. But yeah, that's the only news that's concerning me potentially for this. Obviously, anything can happen during that time, well, before that time, so we'll see. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll keep you updated. Fingers crossed it works out. If it goes halfway, I'll take half off just to be slightly safer. And I might do that continuously now, but who knows? I'll see if I like it or not. It's just something I want to play with to see. Because I've noticed a lot of trades that went halfway, then came back and stopped me out for a small loss. But obviously, if I took a small profit whilst I went halfway and then got out at a small loss, it would actually be a small profit overall. So yeah, I'm just playing around with that. So it's just one of them things, probably a psychological thing, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated. I have scaled into a trade. Reason being, prices keep pushing down, so I'm just following the flow. If price hits TP1 in the first trade, then that's half off. So then I've got half the risk on. So then I've only got 1.5% risk on the table then. And obviously, if price hits, let me just draw it on here so you can see. So roughly there, that will be TP1. There we go. So that's TP1 there. So again, if price hits these TP1s, then I'll have half risk on the table. So I would have secured 1%, but only have 1% left on the table, but the potential of making 2% on top of that. So fingers crossed this happens. I mean, you might hear a donk in a minute of price closing half. I don't know if it does that donk, but we'll see. I am on Trade Assistant, so when it does hit this, it won't actually, or as I say, if, because there's no guarantee. But if price does hit this exactly, it doesn't mean it's going to take me out at that point purely because of the spreads. But we'll see. So far, so good. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, I've got 2 trades on at the moment, exposed to 2% risk, which is fine. It's still within my risk tolerance for the day of FTMO of only 5%. It's hit it now, but hasn't taken me out. So let's just wait because obviously, again, spreads. So yeah, 5% drawdown for the day. So 2% is fine to risk personally. But as I say, I'm going to be reducing risk as I go. So when price hits this TP1, then that stop loss is now going to come above this high here. There you go. There's the donks. That's half off on one of the trades. So let me just reduce my stop loss on the first trade to where the second one is. Now I've taken half off, and now this stop loss is here. Just trail stop. There you go. So you might hear another donk if this TP1 gets hit. That's the first one. That's the first little part secured, which is nice. Yeah, I'm really happy with my choices on gold today. Gold's been moving nice. EU just fell off a cliff. EU just went like just left without me, and the 15-minute didn't line up with EU. So yeah, it's EU just left the building. DXY is going to the moon. So again, gold should be selling off, which it is. So it's just being patient. Is it close to half of it off? I think it has. Let me just check my trade history. It says closed there. And only 0.5%. No, that's just, yeah, okay. Both of them have hit TP1, both of them have closed. So I only have a little bit of risk on the table. I'm going to reduce my stop losses again to this high. Just so now I only have 0.4% at risk on the table. So yeah, 0.4% at risk at the table. And obviously, if this both hits TP overall, then that is a 3% gain for the day, which is fantastic. And playing it safe. So I've already bagged 1% now. So if I get another 2 trades in, well, not another 2 trades in, but if these both hit TP, then it's 3% for the day, which is fantastic. So overall, we're up for the day, either by a little bit or by a nice bit. But yeah, it's moving really nicely. I'll keep you guys updated what happens next. Okay, I've moved stop loss to break even. So now I've secured one's at break even, the other one's in profit. We are near TP for the first position anyway. It's just playing around with me as it does. It has hit TP on the FTMO thing, but it hasn't taken out obviously because of spreads. So it's slightly different on TradingView, as again, data is different from Oanda to FTMO, what do you call it, broker. So it's going to be slightly different to what you actually see. So this trail stop loss is actually above this high on my broker, but it's slightly different on here on Oanda because again, it's different data. So it's just one of those things to bear in mind. But yeah, so I'll move to break even. So I've secured another 0.4 or something. Either way, it's going to be 1 point something for today, or it's going to be 3% for today, which is fantastic. Which makes up for rubbish Monday, Tuesday, to be honest, price action wise. But yeah, as I mean, you just got to keep swinging, keep doing your thing, and just trust the process. Can't win them all, can't catch them all. But yeah, I think just focusing on gold at the moment because it seems to be moving the best compared to EU. So yeah, I'm just focusing on that, seeing how we get on, and hopefully in a minute you hear a donk where it's closed one of the positions. The hardest thing about trading, right, is the thing, right? The hardest thing about trading is wanting to do something like, especially if you're really productive as a person and entrepreneurship, there's usually those type of people that get into trading, right? But the hardest thing about trading is to do nothing. It's so cliche to say, but it's so true because you want something so bad. All you hear on the internet is, oh, if you want it so bad, you got to work, you got to put the hours in. Yeah. But with trading, it's not the case. Yes, you put the hours in at the start to learn the craft, to learn the strategy. But if the setup isn't there, you do nothing. It's not something you can force. And when you try to force it and you do try and look for it, then you end up making stupid mistakes and you go further back. So the more hard work you put in isn't necessarily going to help you out in the goal that you actually want. So dealing with that battle is so hard and it's such a mind trip to get into because obviously like when you hear like Gary V's like, do the hours, keep grinding, do this, do that, sacrifice this. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it when you're learning, but when you've got it and you now need to execute, it's like the hardest thing ever. So it's one of those things of do nothing is actually doing something, and it's like learning to accept that reality when getting into trading, especially if you're starting. But hopefully I hit TP. Nope, still hasn't taken me out. It still hasn't taken me out. Yay! Drop, drop, drop. Do it. Do it now. Do it. Do it. Do it. Floating 1.7 at the moment. So I've already scored 1. So this would be 2.7 if this closes and takes me out. If it does take me out on this, then I'm gonna reduce stop loss again. I'm just gonna do it now, to be fair. To there. That's where my stop loss is now. So again, both moved into profit. I know it looks like I've been taken out, but I haven't because of the spreads. Let me just take a picture of it and put it on the screen. There you go. You see it on the screen now of what it looks like on my screen. You can see it's touched the line multiple times, but hasn't actually taken me out of the position because of the spreads. And again, that's one thing that you can't control. It's nothing you can do. It is what it is. I know it'll feel like a personal attack on you and your plan, and you feel like the brokers are out to get you or whatever reason. But at the end of the day, the brokers don't move the price like this. I know you can say, oh, they can slip you or something sus. I know it's gonna suck if I get stopped out now when clearly prices hit it and I can blame the spreads. But again, it is what it is. I can't do nothing about it. I'm either gonna walk away with 1 point something or I'm gonna walk away with 3%. So again, I can't be mad at it. It is what it is. But in these situations like here, yeah, I could easily flip a lid and be like screaming but it's out of my control. I want to use FTMO. I have to use a broker. This is the deal they've got. So the spreads are the spreads. Yes, it's annoying. I should have secured another 1% right now. If they're raw spreads, but you know, we can't get what we want all the time in life. So it is what it is. Yeah, that's the reality, to be honest. This is it. So what am I gonna get? Maybe, I don't know. I can only see one of them at the moment because stop losses are on top of one another. But maybe 1.5 today, potentially, maybe 1.8, which again isn't great, very frustrating, but hey, it is what it is. Let's just see. But both have gone into profit. Don't forget as well, like if you're taking partials on a larger account, that's going to be 10 times easier to do than it is on a smaller account. So if you have, for example, let's say you have a 10K account, right? You're in a challenge and you risk 1% per trade, so you're risking $100 per trade, and you take partials off at a 1-to-1, you're going overall for a 1-to-2. So when you take partials off at 1-to-1 on a 10K chat on a 10K account, risking 1% per trade, you're actually only going to be securing 50 quid, right? Or $50. So that might be really hard for you to do, being I'm only taking 50 quid. But when you get to a 400K account, that 50 quid is now 2,000, you know, and it's the same process. And it's going to be a lot easier for you to take off 2,000 each time than it will be for you to take off 50 quid because actually 2,000 makes a big deal. And I've been stopped out of both those positions. There you go. That is the reality of trading. That is it. Numero uno of trading and how frustrating it can be. Technically, right now, I should be 1% up higher than I already am. However, I am not. All right. What did I walk away with today? Let me just check on the account history. So it was 1.75% today. That is it in a nutshell. I know it can be really annoying. You're going, why did you move stop loss? Like if this comes down now and takes out my take profit and I missed out 3%. But again, I don't know that. I'm just securing what I can see. You know, like the fact that this breaker structure is a lot bigger than this says a lot, right? I'm just saying that the volume is probably going to die out and potentially has the chance to reverse. Now, you know, I wish this took me out, so I secured at least another 1% and then maybe got stopped out at like 0.2% on the next one. But it is what it is. I can't do anything about it. But the fact is, I got out. I've already secured 1% of the trade. So if I was to technically leave both these positions open and not take partials, I probably would have made less today. So yeah, it is what it is. This is a situation, and there's nothing I can do about it. All I can say is that I'm still happy with my results. I've made 1.75% for today, and I'll come back tomorrow. That is a great example of the reality of trading. So hopefully you've learned from that. And let me know in the comment box down below if you've experienced this before and it's just like a normal thing, right? This is a normal reality in trading. I know people make it look sexy and pretty and beautiful and perfect every time, but that's not how trading works. So hopefully you enjoyed that. I'm going to see you tomorrow, Thursday morning. Okay, guys, it's Thursday morning. I've entered a trade on gold. It is counter trend, so I am going against a 15-minute time frame, but I can see prices so far pushed up. It just makes sense for price to potentially push down and start taking out the liquidity. So the liquidity I can see is these equals down here, which have just been taken. I can see even taken. Obviously, I'm going to be taking partials halfway. I will be trailing my stop more aggressively because it is counter trend, but I can just see price potentially coming down and at least testing this OB down here on the 15-minute time frame, which caused this huge push, which is here. I can at least see that being tested. So when that gets tested, then I'll start to see where I can reduce risk. You know, so you're going to take money off the table before that point. But yeah, that's where I can kind of see price going. Again, it's not going with the high time frame trend. This is a counter trend move, so it is higher risk. But it's just something that I can see happening, and it's just kind of it just makes sense to me, to be honest. So if price comes down and it hits the body of this 15, that'll be my overall TP done. But yeah, it's just something I can see. Yeah, it's just is what it is. But hopefully it plays out. If it doesn't, then it's my own fault for not going with the high time frame trend. But from what I'm seeing on the 1 minute, it just screams bearish at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I'm expecting some sort of reaction after taking this liquidity, but I still think price is going to push to the downside. Okay, guys, so half has been taken off. Stop loss is still where it is. What I might do though is just reduce risk to here a sec, just to break even. I feel like that's safe. Just do that now. That's covered commission. So yeah, stop loss has moved to break even. Half off. So worst thing that can happen now is that I make 0.5%. So yeah, it looks good. It looks like it's going to hit TP, but you know, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. God, I'm getting old by saying things like that. Reduce stop loss again. Again, it has hit TP on there. So it did this last time where it ran away from me. So what I'm going to do is just hit the close button manually. And I'm out of the trade. So the reason for me doing that is, if you remember from yesterday's video, and I'm going counter trend as well. Remember from yesterday's video, it hit my TP, hit my TP, hit my TP, and then ran away and then stopped me out for like 0.5% profit when I could have got a 1% profit on the trade. So that's what I'm doing, just because the spread's a bit big. When it gets really close, I'm closing manually, and I'm glad I did. So overall on that trade, let me just add it up for both parts. It was 0.55 plus 0.95. So yeah, 1.5 on that trade percentage wise. So I'm happy with that. Great day. I might leave it there. It's only 8:45 in the morning, just because I don't want to start adding more trades to a counter trend trade when the 15-minute time frame isn't aligned yet. I can see this move happening, so I took advantage of it basically. And I'm not gonna take the piss essentially. So this could be my Thursday done, but obviously I'll keep you updated if anything does happen. But I'm super happy with today's results. 1.5% on gold, counter trend trade. I am happy with those results. But if the 15-minute flips in the afternoon, then sure, I'll trade gold again. But I don't want to take the make as it hasn't flipped yet. So yeah, overall happy with the results. 1.5%. Even by closing it manually as well. So yeah, I'm really happy. Okay, so I took another trade on gold. Probably should have left it there. Took a 0.82% loss. So I've only made 0.6%, 0.66% for the day. I'm gonna call it there now. I'll push my luck. I probably should have left it alone, but I had to take the shot when it made sense. You know, it is what it is. If it came out on one, I'd have been like, yeah, see, I got another trade and now I'm up 3% for the day. But, you know, trading isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You are going to make mistakes. Maybe my emotions got the better of me. But yeah, it is what it is. We move on, we learn. And yeah, I'm still happy with today's results. And yeah, that's that. So I'll come back tomorrow for Friday and see what we got. We do have a lot of news this afternoon as well. So unemployment claims, you know, flash manufacturer PMI coming out. So that's going to affect gold quite badly. So see what happens. There might be an opportunity, and if it is a beautiful setup, then I will take it. All right, but I'm not going to push my luck now. This one was kind of pushing my luck because it wasn't like a beautiful setup. It was kind of a technically it's there, but it's not pretty set up. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it now. But if I get a beautiful one, then great. But other than that, I'm gonna leave it. Okay, guys, it is Friday morning. I have entered in a gold trade and Euro USD trade. So you can see price pushing to the downside in gold on both time frames. EU exactly the same. So that way I'm expecting, if I look at EU on a high time frame as well, EU pushing to the downside. Same thing for DXY. I'm expecting DXY to go to the upside, which DXY is. If I go to DXY on that time frame, DXY is pushing up to the upside. So it makes sense for EU and gold to sell off, which is why I've entered both sales. So fingers crossed it works out. It's out of my control. It is what it is. I mean, the news we have coming out today is we have some Fed Chair Powell speaks at 1 p.m. this afternoon. That's the only thing I'm going to be potentially worried about. Hopefully, I'm out of the trade before then. Hopefully, the trade doesn't consolidate for that news. So that will be slightly annoying. I do have slightly bigger stops than usual. So it gives me some protection, but then I'm in the trade for longer. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts with that, to be honest. But yeah, so I'll keep you updated on how these trades perform. But at the end of the day, what you've got is 1 minute structure pushing to the downside on EU, and gold's kind of just falling, to be honest. It's just a huge fall off. And then right at London Open, I'm expecting continuation to the downside. But again, it's out of my control. It is what it is. Something's going to happen, but I can't control it. So I'm just going to hold on for the ride and hopefully it works out. But yeah, so far so good. I'll keep you updated, guys. Okay, guys, so I have been stopped out on gold. The Euro Summit news came out and absolutely spiked to the upside. So I am keeping an eye on EU just in case it happens again. But yeah, so gold it took out a -1%. I'm in EU at the moment. We had this huge spike, so I'm just gonna double check to see what price it actually does because it can spike and go down. So I do need more confidences to say that yes, this is definitely going to go to the upside. At the moment, it's still holding bear structure. I don't want the spike to be like I'm scared out the trade or I don't want to lose anymore. It needs to be more ground proof other than just a big wick because I know a big wick can just be a screw you. It's unfortunate that happened on gold. But hey, it is what it is. I'm out the trade. But yeah, I'm just keeping a strong eye on the EU at the moment just to see what price does, how price closes. Because at the moment, everything about EU is saying it's bearish still. So I'm still going to keep that in mind just in case. Obviously, I can get wicked like I did on gold. So we do have a Euro Summit, which is all day. So it's kind of hard to figure out what people think. 9 o'clock is when I got stopped out of gold, and that's the German IFO business climate news got released. So that's where that spike was caused. And then we obviously got new news the Fed Chair Powell speaks at 1, which is what I mentioned before. But I didn't expect the German business climate news, the orange folder news, to cause so much of a disruption, especially with gold. There could be something I'm missing here. And you guys who are deep into fundamentals will absolutely understand why that caused a spike on EU and gold. So yeah, I'm just keeping a close eye. I'm just going to read price action for what it is, and if I get stopped out, then it is what it is. But I'm trying to keep a level head here and take price action for what it is and not what I think. But yeah, I'll keep you updated. It's unfortunate, but yeah, -1 on gold. Okay, I got out. As you can see, DXY is starting to push to the downside, and EU is starting to push to the upside. So I could have been premature on this, but I got out at 0.43% on EU. So overall today, I'm down 1.43. Isn't great, but hey, it is what it is. If I was up earlier, aka if I didn't sleep in my alarm, which I did because I didn't hear my alarm at all. I was out cold. I could have got in up here and would have made 0.8%. So that's my fault, to be honest. So I'm going back through my trades through the week and looking at my performance, looking at the situations I was in. I'm going to go back through the last 3 weeks of these YouTube videos, understanding how I could have got in and out of the trades maybe slightly better, or how my thought process was, and just try and tweak and refine and understand how I'm trading on a bigger scale to kind of understand my way of thinking in certain situations to hopefully improve and find, if I can find faults in it, I can maybe tweak it in a healthier manner. But overall, my results for the week. Let's have a look. So I've got, so Monday, I'll put a screenshot up as well of it. I'll just do the calculations. But yeah, Monday minus 1.57, Tuesday minus 1.2, shouldn't have been a minus 1.2. I learned from that. So these situations are how I can tweak it and see, okay, if I lost, but then if I added this risk management system in, this would have been the result, better or worse. So that way you can kind of tweak it. But Tuesday minus 1.2, Wednesday plus 1.7, Thursday plus 0.66, which should have been 0.5 because I should have walked away. So again, these little situations, I'm going to go, if I just walked away after my one and done, like I know I should do, what are the end results? If the end results are positive, then I know that, okay, this is how I need to change my mindset in order to perform better. Like I know I should be doing these things, but sometimes, we're all human. Our emotions can get the better of us. And when we're on a winning streak or we want to maximize certain things, we just want to keep adding to the trade, and obviously that's not always the best way. I feel like scaling is different to trading again. Scaling into a position you're already in is different, because if you're already in the same move, you're trying to catch that move that makes sense, which is the highest probability move. So if you can scale into the same move, that's great. But if you already took the trade and it's hit TP and now you're going back in to look for a potential of a move, the probability of that move also working out is a lot less, in my experience. And that's what I did then, because my emotions got the better of me. Okay, I've won, I see if I can win again, trying to take the pest. And then the market went and slapped me in the face. So instead of walking away with 1.5, I came away with 0.66. So again, like this is how I'm going to add up my week, understanding my behaviors and understanding what I should have done if I was a perfect robot, and try and close that gap. I'm never going to be a perfect robot in this, but at the end of the day, it's how I'm going to try and improve myself as a trader over time. But at the end of the month, I'm still positive. So I'll do the month calculations as well. And I'll put that screenshot up as I'm speaking now, and then you can kind of see like, oh, okay, so throughout the month it's only this. But obviously, again, it depends on the size of your account. If you've got a 10K account, it's not going to mean much. You've got a 100K account, there you go, it's an average wage. If you've got 400K account, it's still a fantastic week. Like, again, it's all a different about perspectives and how you can survive and what you think is good and bad. But it's on social media and YouTube and stuff. It's very skewed of what is good nowadays. Like if you can consistently get 1 to 2% in a month, it's fantastic. If you can do that in a week, it's insane. Like I target to try and get 1 to 2% on average a week, because that's an insane result. For most people, that seems quite tame and boring. They want to get 1 to 2% a day. So everyone's different. Everyone has different risk tolerances. Everyone has a different expectation of what they want out of the market. For me, it always has been, can I just not get a 9 to 5? Can I just keep myself out of a 9 to 5 and do what I love, which is this? That's basically it. That's all I want out of it. I don't care about shiny shit, to be honest. I live in gym clothes. I trade and I go to the gym. That's my life. And when the summer comes, I go surfing, which again is cheap. It's not expensive. Don't need to buy Gucci, right? I just want to be free to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And to be honest, you don't need a lot of money to do that. Like if you have a 400K funded account and you make 2% of the month, most people go, oh, 2%, that's kind of rubbish, but that's still 8,000. How about you keep like 6.5, and by the time it's converted into pounds, it's roughly 5,000. All right, cool. You do that every month. Now you're on 60,000 a year. Now you are the top 10% earner in the UK. Just saying. All right, it doesn't need to be amazing. All right, I know you see everyone with Lambos and Gucci shit, but what do you actually want out of trading and what's realistic for you to get? And hopefully, if I keep posting these videos week in, week out, you can kind of see the non-sexy side of trading. I'll be the non-sexy guy. I'll take that hit for the team. Yeah, so for the month, for me, it's 2.38%. So again, perfectly normal. It's going to be very different depending on your size accounts. Obviously, if you have 1 million in funding, you've made 23K. You know, that's going to be amazing for some people. If you have 100K in funding, you've got 2,300, which again is probably more than the average salary most people have anyway, right? If you've got 400K in funding, you've now made 8 in the bit K, right? If you've got 50K in funding, you've got £1,000 odd, right? So it's still £1,000 for the month extra on whatever you're doing anyway. So again, you do not need these huge numbers to be successful. Depends on what you class as successful. At the end of the day, is what you class as successful. For me, success is being able to do what I love without having to do the things I hate, right? So for me, hating is working for someone else, working a 9 to 5, being very unhappy. Like if I could make 30, well, let's just say living a livable wage, right, in the UK, if I could make, and I'm single as well, so single tax is a real thing. So let's just say for me to live freely, I need to make 60K a year on my own as well. This does not include anyone else, just to say on my own. 60K a year, 5K a month, I can do that, right? With just 2% a month. Doesn't sound sexy. You're not going to be in leaderboards. No one's going to be, wow, look, you're a huge payout. You're not going to get that. But for me, that's not important. What's important is, can I stay out of a 9 to 5? Can I live the life I want to live? Yes. So that's what I'm focusing on. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video, guys. It sucks that it ended on a downer, but hey, I'm going to go back, refine, have a look at my journal, understand where I can go, where I went wrong and how I can slightly improve. I definitely have a few ideas of how I can slightly improve. And then it's just staying disciplined to those things. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you have, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for hopefully a more profitable one.